Let's jump right into it. Welcome to DCS coverage with Crucible Radio. I am your host, Bones. With me, as always, is Swain. And we are going to talk about the past couple weeks in the DCS, Destiny Championship Series, organized by Far Cognitions. So what's been happening is these guys have been playing in the second qualifier event and the final qualifiers. And starting this weekend, things are getting underway. The season is kicking off. So let's see what's been happening leading up to that.
Oh man, it is a great time to be watching some competitive Destiny, some great games happening, and some really great names for some teams here.
Yes, our favorite is always just hearing everyone's team names and who's changing to what team name, but always interesting in the world of gaming. So 62 teams entered to try and capture a spot for the final qualifiers. That's a lot of teams, and this is going to, put them in spots moving forward into the season. So even though they're just trying to qualify, the stakes are still pretty high. And in the second qualifier event, and the bracket was basically dominated by Sick by Definition and the Anaheim Sideliners. So SBD is a last-minute pickup team. They've got Game Boy 90, The Insanity, Rucka Lucka, and Roasted and Banana, and they didn't drop a single game until the 5th round, and they came across a team called Kicked from Calestra, and they put up a tough battle. And they were down 0-2 in this series, and they pulled out this reverse sweep to go 3-2 and finish. and there's a very entertaining clip from that game.
It's pretty intense.
So that is a big comeback. And then you've got the Anaheim Sideliners. They also didn't drop a single game until round 5, and they are rallying comebacks to take down teams. There's this great clip of being down almost 700 points with 30 seconds left to go on Cauldron, and they're thinking that the other team is going to run away, and then they realize that there's another push happening, so they got to do a wipe, and they get a team wipe and skate by 50 points. Really, really intense finishes, and this is just second qualifiers. But of course, the story here, after all of that, Sick by Definition is disbanding and dropping out to join other teams for the finals. So these guys that played together are now on completely different teams going into the final qualifiers.
Such an interesting aspect. It feels like free agents in the middle of a season, just kind of taking off. All right, I'm on my new team now.
Yeah, those last minute preseason trade deals going through that no one expects and can really change the face of the league.
Yeah, hopefully we see some of these players get injected into some already finalist teams and make a difference, because these are some really good players here, and I would love to see them get further in.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the final qualifiers. So the big story, and this has been going on for a couple of weeks. It's not quite a secret, but Pashi has been secretly playing on an alt account known as Louizzle. As everyone knows this at this point, he on stream deleted all 3 of his Guardians on his main account, said, I'm going to wait for the sequel. But of course, not very many people can stay away from Destiny, as we know all too well. And he is back with the God Squad competing on a different account. And luckily, everyone has a good IS Luna. Everyone's got a Matador, so he's good to go.
Yeah, I like watching Pashi play, and it's good to see him back. He used to do the streams just from a OBS and stuff, and had his face cam going, and he's going old school with the PlayStation, straight off the PlayStation for these ones.
It's like an NBA player returning to their roots and practicing on the hoop they played on growing up, something like that. But
Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
I mean, he's gonna make an impact in this league, and he is one of the prominent players that everyone knows. And I know a lot of people were kind of bummed to see him say that I'm gonna sit it out and wait till Destiny 2. But of course, he is back, and the God Squad is making moves. But before that, Bomb Squad Kittens, another big story, had 3 members out of town and they had to pick up some subs. So, of course, they grab a couple guys from Sick by Definition, Rucka Lucka, and Game Boy 90, and actually did pretty well with this sort of haphazard team. They dropped down to only 4th overall, but they will be ready to battle with their full squad at the season opener. So they will have to fight their way back up to the top, but they're definitely capable of doing that. Another name change. Get your rosters in line before the season starts. Team Pha has changed their name to Primal. You know, Primal, that team we all know. And from the disbanded Sick by Definition, the Insanity has ended up on Primal's team.
Another good player landing on a good team.
Yeah, those free agent pickups, those players later down the road, of course, everyone has 4 starters and sort of 2 substitutes. So it's always good to have talent on your bench. So God Squad does go on a solid win streak. And they actually ran into a team called Unknown Talent in round 5 where they were upset 0-2. And this is tough. You know, this puts them in the losers bracket and they have to make a comeback here. But it's really interesting because even what is considered maybe the best team, you know, the best players out there, A.E. Gabriel, all those guys can be beatable if a team comes in with a different strategy. I mean, I've watched it in tournaments before this season where, you know, stuff like the bubble meta rises up real quick.
Real quick.
And suddenly there's a bubble and everyone's going, wait, I don't practice against this. What's the counter? And if it doesn't happen in those first 2 games, you know, that's it. So there's always a chance for teams that are just so comfortable winning to just get hit with something new that they don't quite adjust to right away. So lessons learned here in competitive Destiny. If you fail to register for this stuff, you lose your spot. And that did happen to a team in the finals qualifiers. Team Saucy failed to sign up on time and get in there for their games. So they defaulted their spot to a team known as Be Modest. And Be Modest was suddenly thrown into some tough games. They got first rounded by BSK, but then they rallied to win straight in the losers bracket against Team Casuals and Synergy, which landed them a spot in the Champions Division, which is crazy. I mean, this is a Cinderella story.
Yeah, we actually got to hear from Wiseboy, who talks us through the last moments of the comeback win on Rusted Lands.
One of the big comeback moments on Rusted, I mean, just overall, a highlight for that would be the team shots that we had. We're down about 340 for a majority of the game, and the last, I think, 2 minutes of the game, they were up by 260 or something like that, 250. And they had 2 flags, and we had 1. And we made a push with supers to go and neutralize one of their flags. And I pushed my super and neutralized B. And we had 3 of our teammates on C at that point, and I was on B alone. And originally, I didn't think that we could do it because I had to win a huge 1v1. If he ended up killing me off that point, he would have probably capped B, and that the game would have been over. Wouldn't have had enough points or enough time to be able to make the comeback. So I know I had a very clutch moment. Sai had a really big moment with his storm. He wiped the entire team. And then Clay had a really huge moment to neutralize C at the very end of the game. And yeah, that was a huge moment for us.
And Wiseboy went on to talk to us about how it feels to get the wild card 32 seed, face off with BSK, and then rally for a spot in the Champions Division.
You know, being the 32 seed in the tournament is never fun. You're the underdog, the team that's not really expected to do a whole lot. And we knew going into it, we were probably going to have to face a really good team, a top team. And with that being said, we got the number 1 seed, BSK. And first round, we got 0-2 real fast. And we didn't really lose our momentum at that point. We knew we were going to get put into the losers bracket, and we saw that every single best of 1 of the finals. We knew that we just had to make it to the 3rd round, which is the top 16 teams. and we should be good to make it into a Champions Division, which is exactly what we did. After we faced Casual in the second round, in the first round, and then in the second round we had that comeback on Rusted. After that, we knew that we made it into the top 16, and from there, I mean, we did what we wanted to. We could care less, honestly, about winning the fourth round game.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a big story, comeback of the century, and it's crazy how many stories we have already. Unknown Talent, the team that did beat God Squad, were eventually dethroned by that team, but they were fighting from the 5th seed up to the 2nd. They beat BSK, Primal, and God Squad. I mean, that's kind of incredible. And BSK, as we know, is playing with this haphazard team with a few subs from SBD, and they're dropping down to 4th, but they will be coming back. I mean, these teams that you sort of expect to sort of lock in their positions at the top are having to prove themselves, because it's been a long time and people have had a while to practice and get pretty good. So we're seeing some teams that we don't quite expect really threaten those names that we're familiar with.
Keep an eye out for BSK coming back here, guys, with a vengeance. But Zyphos Alpha had an interesting opening series where they played Visual, and round 1 ended in a dispute because a Visual player accidentally turning off their PS4 and the end of the Supremacy match that didn't allow Zyphos to pick up crests to win. So Farcog came back and they ruled it as a replay, which they ended in a tie. A tie, guys. So Zyphos went on to win against Visual, then Infallible, and then they lost to BSK. So they ended up in the losers bracket, and they finally lost to IM to move their number 8 seed up to number 5. So it was a solid day for Zyphos.
Yes, and one of the craziest things was in one of those games from Zyphos, Draft Hail dropped a Reign of Terror medal during a tournament, which is wild. And we're looking for more big plays like that coming up. And speaking of big plays, we are going to kick it on over to our boy Fallout with a highlight clip.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? I'm Fallout, and welcome to another edition of Clipped. And here we go, kicking it off at number 7 with Gabe on Cauldron Clash. Looking for his moment to push, pretending to skate away, coming right back with a big shotgun kill on Sir D, pushing in with the Luna kill on Walla, and finally wrapping it on up with the Titan Punch for the triple kill and the game win. Next up at number 6, Zone Control, Burning Shrine with Draft Hail, getting that quick Luna kill on Frostbolt, moving in with his team to Zone B, popping his Storm, looking for a big team push here, zipping around doing that Storm thing, and even though his team gets nailed, he's right there to clean everything up, neutralizing that B zone. Moving right on to number 5, we are on board with War Bulletproof, Supremacy on Twilight Gap, War with the most ridiculous no-scope I've ever seen, finishing up with the melee double kill. But man, what a shot. Big play number 4 coming at you, and we are back on Twilight Gap with Frostbolt. And he's up by B crates, poking around, looking for trouble, spots the enemy team, fires off a shot, and here we go with the fadeaway nade! Kobe getting the double and the triple with that beautiful fadeaway lightning grenade. Next up, number 3, and we are jumping over to Supremacy on Exodus Blue with Trevorky. Check out the score down low. Incredibly close game going on. Trev pushing up through the pipe, getting the fist up top to give his team that itty-bitty lead. And now they have to play oh so careful. He's moving over to get that shotgun ammo because he has none, and his teammate gets brought down on the ramp, and with one shell left in the chamber, the crazy kill on True Vanguard picks up the crest and gets killed, but it doesn't matter because game over. Next, jumping on over to number 2, Zone Control, Burning Shrine with Loudon Lee, spawning up by his territory, pushing out onto the bridge with full super energy, floating right over to B, and you already know, boom, the huge one-man dunk on the whole team, and after that, you just gotta sit down and chill. Finally, here we go. Number 1, we are back on board with Gabe skating to and fro on Twilight Gap supremacy with his team down 96-98. He pushes over to the A field to help his team, looking to help, but they're dead. Now it's a one-man show. Gabe with the quick 3-tap, but he's not done yet. Another 3-tap, a jumping 1-tap, punch-kill combo, and Gabe winning the game on his own shoulders. And look at that guy laughing. How can you not feel hyped for that guy? Alright everybody, that wraps up another episode of eSportsCenter. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back in 2 weeks for coverage of Week 1 of DCS. Please like this video and subscribe to stay up to date, and we will see you next time.